Good morning, everyone. How are you? Welcome back. So excited that you're jumping onto my YouTube channel. This is where I'm going to drop a whole bunch, whatever that means, of videos. Just talking to you, just literally talking to you about things that have come up and things that I've noticed people are needing some help with or conversation about. This past couple of days, I have had some great conversations with some of my clients about schedule. Now, here's the thing. We all have different lives and sometimes and different jobs, and we have kids and dogs and all the things, right? And sometimes those lives change a little bit. I'm thinking of people in particular that are in the education field. Of course, I used to be in education. I spent a couple decades of my life teaching and being an administrator, and it was great at the time. Still doing my side hustle, of course, which was training people and coaching people and doing nutrition, which I'm fortunate enough that I get to do all of that full time now. But it helped me a lot to learn about things and people and how to work with people, particularly young people, but still, as actually every age, right? Because when I worked with teachers, I had teachers who were just fresh out of college at the age of 21, 22, and I had some veteran teachers who were a bit older than that. So, and everything in between. But I was talking to one of my clients this week and had the conversation. It's very interesting because everyone thinks it's great to be a teacher. You get summers off, et cetera, which we know not necessarily true, just depends on the teacher, because a lot of teachers don't take summers off. They do summer school, or they continue to plan for the next year, or they take classes, or, that kind of thing. But anyway, one thing though is sure is that their schedule changes completely. And just like you, when you take a vacation, if you're not in education and you're out in the public sector doing work, when you go on vacation, you have no schedule. You kind of get to do what you want, right? You get to plan it. You get to have your time. When we're left to our own devices and we're not following someone else's schedule, that can really throw us for a loop. Because guess what? If you don't schedule your life will schedule you. It's true. All of a sudden, you'll end up doing things that you never thought to do. And people ask you to do things and help them out, or your kids have this to do, or all the things, right? And all of a sudden, you're looking at your days and you didn't plan any of this. It's just happening to you, right? So your life just becomes this thing that runs you, and you can feel like you're on this treadmill or this hamster wheel, right? Because you're not planning anything. Your life isn't yours anymore. You haven't scheduled it. It's scheduling you. So this client of mine and I talked a little bit, and we're going to talk some more, but I wanted to come to you and talk to you a little bit about that. If you don't schedule your life, it will schedule you. And then, like I said, what happens is all of a sudden you're in this position where you feel like you're running from one thing to another, and not accomplishing anything. And all of a sudden, all your goals and all the things that you want to accomplish, whether that is career-wise, whether that is educationally for yourself, whether that is physically, whether that is emotionally, right? All of those things get pushed to the side, and now your priority list is this long, and you're not here. You're somewhere below the bottom. And that's hard. So really important. Why? Because routines. Everyone says, oh, I love not having anything to do. That's not true. There is not a person on this planet that doesn't thrive with routines, with setting boundaries. All of those things are important, because if you're going to set routines, you have to set boundaries too. And that means saying yes to yourself. Think about boundaries this way. You're not saying no to other people. You're not keeping other people out. You're keeping yourself in, and you're allowing yourself to say yes to you. That's what boundaries do. They allow you to prioritize yourself and say yes to the things that you need and the things that you want. So what we need to do is we need to find our routines, find our schedule our lives so that our lives don't schedule us. And why? Because without those routines, without those boundaries, the biggest stressor. The biggest source of anxiety is not having control over what is happening to you, right? You don't have control. Things are kind of coming at you. There's no rhyme or reason to things that are going on. You feel like you're out of control. You worry about everything because you worry and you're anxious. You don't know what's going to come. That, my friends, is how scheduling your life and not allowing your life to schedule you can help you feel less anxious and feel less worry and be less stressed because you are taking back control, right? It is scheduling yourself so that you have control over what's going on. Guess what? We all know there are some non-controllables. For example, if you have to go to work and you have to be there by 8 o'clock in the morning, okay, that's a non-controllable, right? You have to be at work. So maybe you work 8 to 5 or you work 9 to 5 or whatever your work schedule is. When we're thinking about scheduling our life, the first thing we have to do is schedule our non-controllables. Work is one of those, right? It's just one of those. That's a non-controllable. That's something you must do. However, when you're looking at your work schedule, if you're a standard 8 to 5, 9 to 5, whatever that is, your Monday through Friday, your Tuesday through Saturday, whatever it is, you can schedule your time within that workspace to optimize ways to help you feel better and to help you get towards your goals. What am I talking about? What are you doing on lunch? Are you eating your lunch? Or are you eating your lunch and? Are you eating lunch and having a meeting? Are you eating your lunch and continuing to work on your computer so that you're mindlessly eating whatever's in front of you? Hopefully you've meal prepped. That's helpful. At least you're mindlessly eating stuff you've meal prepped and it's good for you, right? It's helping you towards your goals. But are you helping your digestion by doing work and eating at the same time? Because you're probably shoveling that food in. You're not thinking about how it tastes. You're not thinking about anything other than shoveling it in your mouth. Maybe not chewing so well either. So you can find ways, right? Maybe every hour you have to set an alarm in your computer, right? On your Google Calendar that goes off and says, hey, you need to take 5 deep breaths right now. Every hour, top of the hour. Or maybe every 2 hours, you have to get up and go for a walk, right? Or even walk at lunch. Or setting an alarm so that you drink your water. It's so hard when you're working on your computer or you're meeting with people to grab that water and drink because you're talking or you're using your hands. So maybe you need to think about that time when you're at work. How can I schedule in me as a priority? So I can get my water in, so I can take some deep breaths, belly breathing, not shoulder breathing. Deep breaths, that's gonna help with stress all day. That gets us into our parasympathetic system. That's where we wanna go. Even those little breaks can help us. So even though you have to schedule your non-controllables like work or like your child's baseball game or baseball tournament or basketball or softball, or like sports are all year long now. So I don't know what y'all are doing. There's a lot going on, right? In that time, you can schedule time for yourself. If you're at a baseball tournament, right? If you're at a baseball tournament, could you go for a little walk? You don't have to walk far. Just walk around, get yourself movement. Make sure you bring your water, right? Make sure you bring yourself some good protein to eat, right? If it's over a dinner time and you've been not eating, you haven't had a meal for a couple of hours, bring yourself a meal. It doesn't have to be that hard. It could be just a protein shake and a piece of fruit, right? Schedule your non-controllables and then look at that and say, how can I optimize this time to help me? And maybe when you're at that baseball tournament and you're sitting there watching your kid, it's literally just sitting there watching your child and enjoying your child's play. And when they're not playing, you're cheering for the other kids. Or you're looking around, you're outside, it's sunny, breathe more. Get off your phone. Get off your phone. Live in the moment, right? Don't check Facebook. That's stressful. Don't look at the news. That's stressful, right? So you can schedule some non-negotiables into your non-controllables. So let's talk about non-negotiables. Now that you have your controllables all scheduled, you need to schedule your non-negotiables. And those pieces are dependent upon what your goals are. right? So for a lot of my clients, in fact, every one of them, one of their non-negotiables is water. One of their non-negotiables is they have to get movement throughout the day. I don't care. Like some of them, because of their goals, it's literally going for a walk. So they would schedule their walk. Let's look at your day. Do you have to schedule the whole week at one time? No. Maybe you schedule daily, like the night before you look at your schedule and go, okay, this is when I'm going to walk tomorrow. Pop it into your schedule. Maybe you do it every couple of days. Pop it into your schedule. Maybe you can schedule it for the week. Making sure that you schedule yourself into your day, every day. That's what I consider non-negotiable. If you have to schedule, like I said, if you have to schedule a 5 minutes of meditation, and by meditation, I mean just sitting quietly and listening to your breathing. I don't mean you have to like ohm the thing out and sit on a pillow and, do the incense. I'm talking about just maybe it's 2 minutes, but you have to schedule your non-negotiables. You have to schedule yourself into those non-negotiables, right? You have to. Because when we take control of our schedule, when we schedule our life doesn't schedule us. When we schedule our life, we can schedule ourselves into it. We can schedule the things that we need to do to keep ourselves healthy mentally, physically, and psychologically. Because if we don't make ourselves a priority, no one else will. And then when they actually need us, we won't be available fully if we haven't done the things to take care of ourselves. If you don't schedule your life, you will be anxious. You will worry. All the things. You'll be a healthier person if you schedule your life. So let me say it again. If you don't schedule yourself and your life will schedule you. Make yourself a priority. I have lots of tips and tricks. So stay tuned to the channel. I'll still keep talking about this, but if you have specific questions, you can always drop a comment or you can email me, coachlaurall71@gmail.com, or go to my website, www.lauralcoaching.com, and hit me with a question or hit me with your concerns. We can even talk on the phone. Hey, everybody, go out, have a great worry-free, stress-free, anxiety-free day. Schedule yourself, make yourself a priority. I will talk to you soon.